Hey there, this is Caden. If you stumbled upon this video, you're wondering how to track your affiliate income using for ClickFunnels using Clickmagick. Um, and without further ado, I'm going to show you the video. But first, I just want to say I do have permission to post this video. This is not me telling you how to do it in the next segment. But if you want to coach with Catlin Bettridge, the person who actually made this video, I'm going to put his link for coaching in the descriptions. If you want to sign up for Clickmagick in order to track your affiliate income for ClickFunnels, I'm going to put that link in the description. If you want to sign up for ClickFunnels, I'm also going to put that in the description. And before you continue watching, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be coming at you with so much valuable content. You're really not going to want to miss this. So anyway, here it is.
So after getting signed up for your Clickmagick 14-day free trial, the next thing you're going to need to do is to go to the domain registrar web host of your choice and purchase a domain that's going to be used just for tracking in Clickmagick. So I just went right now into DreamHost here and I purchased the domain linktrack.co. I'm probably only going to use it for this video, but I wanted to show you everything from scratch, step by step, how to do it. So I just went out and bought a new domain. I'm not going to walk you through how to buy a domain. It's going to be different for every different web host. But certainly just reach out to GoDaddy or DreamHost or Bluehost or whoever you want to buy a domain from, and they'll point you in the right direction that way. Now, why do we need a custom tracking domain? In fact, every time we sign into Clickmagick, there's going to be, at least once per day, there's going to be like this bar that pops up at the top and it says, warning, if you're promoting these links on social media or anywhere, you must use a custom tracking domain. The reason for that is similar to why we want to use custom domains with ClickFunnels, right? If we don't use a custom domain, we can just use our .clickfunnels. Like for me, it's catlinbettridge.clickfunnels.com. But the downside to that is everybody that's not using a custom domain is sharing that one domain. So what happens is if one person runs, say, Facebook ads that violate Facebook's terms and conditions, and they're using the .clickfunnels subdomain, that essentially contaminates that domain in Facebook's eyes for everyone. And sometimes you'll see people get their ad account shut down just because they're running traffic to a link that has .clickfunnels in the URL. Exact same thing with Clickmagick. There is a Clickmagick domain that everybody shares. It's like .clkmig.com or something like that. If you're not using a custom domain, that's the default, but you absolutely 100% need to be using a custom domain with Clickmagick. So you're just going to want to purchase a domain that you're only using for link tracking. Okay, and then if we go into tools here inside of our Clickmagick dashboard, and then we want to click on Domain Manager, and we'll see how to set up that custom domain. So I've already got 3 domains in here, but now that I've upgraded to the $47 plan for this video, I've got 10 domains. So we're going to add it in here now. So we're just going to click on the Start here. This is going to show us the step-by-step instructions. So if we scroll down far enough here in the Start here now, it says here, for use with tracking links, use this. So there's something called rotators in Clickmagick, and that's something solo ad vendors will use to make sure that each person on their email list doesn't see the same offer twice, kind of. But from the buyer perspective, we're not using rotators. Those are for sellers. We're using tracking links. That's for solo ad buyers like us. So I'm just going to copy this Clickmagick tracking domain here, and I'm going to jump into DreamHost where I bought this domain, and I'm going to open up the DNS settings. Now, I haven't actually added hosting to this domain yet, and we'll see why in just a minute. And the process is going to be a little bit different at every different web host, but I can't show you how to do it in every different one, so I'm just going to show you in my web host DreamHost here how to do it. So what we want to do is add a custom DNS record to LinkTrack. It's going to be for the www subdomain, so it'll be www.linktrack.co. We want to add a CNAME record. And for the value, we want www.clkmg.com, and we can leave comment blank. Now, if I had enabled hosting on the domain first, I would get an error message here and it would say, sorry, you already have a CNAME record for www. So it's important to do it in this order. Add this CNAME record first. All right, perfect. So the CNAME record has been added. The next thing I want to do is I want to actually enable web hosting on this domain within DreamHost. So I'm just going to click add here to add the web hosting. Now what's really important is, and it may be different at every web host, but you want to force the web host to add www to any version of the domain. So as it says here, if they just type linktrack.co, it's going to redirect them over to www.linktrack.co. The reason we want to do that is if we don't, and somebody just types linktrack.co, they're going to get a weird Clickmagick error message. And if they type www, it'll work. If we enable this add www and just force all site visitors to go to the www version, all of this stuff's going to work perfectly. But it's important, again, to add that Clickmagick CNAME record in your web host first, then enable hosting and make sure that hosting is forcing people to go to the www version. I'm going to leave all this other stuff the same and click fully host this domain. All right, so that's being added to the registration queue, and it might just take a few minutes for the DNS to propagate. But once it does, what we want to do is go back into our domain manager here within Clickmagick, and we want to add in the domain, our tracking domain rather. So it's www.linktrack.co. We've used a CNAME record. We're going to use it with tracking links, not rotators. And then the option here, cloak this domain, yes or no. So basically what this does is if you click yes, you'll have the flexibility in the future, if you choose to cloak different links with this domain. I'll show you what cloaking is later. And if you choose no, you don't have that option. So I like leaving my options open. So it's going to give us the flexibility to cloak links in the future if we choose to. So we're going to click yes, and we're going to add custom domain. So if you get this error message, oops, there seems to be a problem. What that means is just the hosting and the CNAME record hasn't finished propagating yet. So we'll give it a few minutes to finish propagating the DNS changes, and then we'll come back and try this again. So hopefully that's been enough time for those DNS changes to propagate. So I've just gone back into the domain manager here, put in the linktrack.co tracking domain, choose yes, CNAME record tracking links, and we'll click the add custom domain button here. All right, perfect. So that time the domain was added successfully. So our custom domain is ready to start using. And when we create custom tracking links in the video training, we're going to use this new custom tracking domain. So the next thing we want to do is pixel our page, because we want to be able to track opt-in rates. So we want to know if we buy, say, 100 solo ad clicks off somebody, are we getting a 50% opt-in rate, a 20%? We want to be able to track that for each solo ad provider. So just like with a Facebook pixel, if you're familiar with that, if you've ran Facebook ads before, you put a pixel on your thank you page within the header tracking code in Clickfunnels, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. And then that way, that little code snippet sends data back to Facebook and notifies Facebook whenever somebody completes a registration on your opt-in form and updates your stats. So it works the exact same way in Clickmagick. So we're just going to take a little bit of JavaScript pixel code, toss that into Clickfunnels, and then that way we know exactly what our opt-in rate's going to be from each individual traffic source. So I'll show you how to do that now. So we're going to click on Tools, and we're going to click on Pixel Builder, I believe it is. Yep, so tracking pixels and then Pixel Builder. Pretty easy. There's a couple options we've got to choose. So first off, it's actions, engagements, or sales. For the purpose of tracking our Clickfunnels affiliate stats, actions is the only type of conversion that we're going to be tracking. With different, where you're selling your own products, you can track sales, and then engagements are kind of for tracking everything between the opt-in page and the order form page. But for the sake of this training and what we're using Clickmagick for, we're only going to be worrying about actions. You're going to select actions there. You're going to choose choose last click for conversion attribution. Do you want to track duplicate conversions? No, because if the same person opts in over and over, they'd have the potential to sort of distort our stats. So we want to make sure that it's only counting each person that opts in one time, even if they opt in with multiple email addresses, that kind of thing. Are we adding this pixel to a secure HTTPS page? If you're using a custom domain and you have HTTPS enabled, when you visit the page, you'll see up here HTTPS secure. If that's the case, you want to choose yes here. For the sake of this example, I'm not building out a new custom domain in Clickfunnels. We're just going to run this duplicate copy of the funnel on my .clickfunnels subdomain. So I'm just going to choose no here, but in most cases, you guys are probably going to choose yes here if you have your custom domain in Clickfunnels secured with an SSL certificate. Are you adding this to a tracking link? No. You can leave reference value blank. And the other thing we want to do here is choose this JavaScript radio button. For the way Clickfunnels handles code, in the head tracking section, we want to have a JavaScript pixel code. And that's it. So that's generated a pixel code. It just generates one action tracking pixel per account. And you can use that same pixel code on multiple pages. So here we are in Clickfunnels, and I've made this duplicate copy of the funnel just for this video. And I want to track conversions on my thank you page. So we'll click on thank you, and we'll open up the page editor. Okay, and then we're going to click on settings, and we're going to click on tracking code. And we want to make sure header code is selected. And then we're just going to paste that code that we just copied out of our Clickmagick account right into there. We can close that out and click save. And that's all there is to it to pixel our page with the action tracking pixel from Clickmagick. So now our funnel is set up to be able to track conversions. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create some groups and some subgroups. So when you create tracking links, you can organize them into groups and subgroups. You can do it sort of just to stay organized. Like you might have personal website links, then you might have a subgroup called like homepage. That's how I had it all set up at first in Clickmagick, but then I realized after that there's greater functionality and purpose to link groups and subgroups than just helping yourself feel organized. There's actually a very specific way we're going to use them with the Clickfunnels affiliate program to be able to properly track all our sales, all our ad costs, etc. So just follow along with the training here. We'll take it step by step, and it'll sort of all come together once we start to get this stuff built out. So you're going to click on Tools, okay, and you're going to click on Group Manager. Okay, we're going to click on Create Groups, and we're going to create a new link group. And this is going to be our funnel group. Essentially, it's going to display the overall stats for our entire funnel, all the different ad sources combined. It's going to sort of serve as our dashboard within Clickmagick. So I'm just going to call this group Funnel-Example. You'd probably call it like funnel dash and then the name of your funnel, whatever it is. And we'll click on Create Group. And that group's created. Let's go back into links and just make sure that our funnel group has been set up here. So this is our tracking links, shows all our different links. So if we choose this drop-down menu here, we can just choose the group or the subgroup that we're after. So here's funnel example. And you'll notice we haven't created any links for this funnel yet, but we're going to go ahead and create our front end funnel entry link now that's going to contain all the stats for all our different traffic sources. Before I do that, I'll just kind of show you what some of these columns mean, because I know you're probably staring at all these columns and be like, I wonder what all this means, right? It's pretty straightforward. So TC is total clicks. That's a total number of clicks to a particular link. UC is unique clicks. Those are actual human unique visitors. So when you're buying solo ads, you want to be paying only for the number of UC unique clicks you receive. FC, flagged clicks. Those are essentially like bot clicks, abuser clicks. You should never pay for any clicks that end up in the FC column. Clickmagick is pretty good at filtering out clicks that are worthless and clicks you should actually be paying for. Again, you're only paying for the UCs, not the FCs. A is action. So essentially that's going to be, remember we created that action tracking pixel, right? So an action is an email opt-ins. That's going to display number of email opt-ins. ACR is our action conversion rate. Essentially that's our opt-in percentage. The E's and S's, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And then we have cost per click, cost per action, which is cost per email opt-in. And then we have earnings per click and ROIs. Those are the columns we're worried about now. So let's go ahead and create a new link within our funnel group here. Make sure the right group's selected here from the drop down. And we're going to call this link total stats, because that's what this link is going to be, right? Our total statistics for all our traffic sources combined, and it's for our example funnel. This is where you choose a custom domain from the drop down. So we'll choose our linktrack.co. Link ID, you could put something like /opt-in here, but I usually just leave that blank because no one really sees it anyway. They click a link in an email, it redirects them right away. If you leave it blank, then Clickmagick will just assign a random URL slug, and that's totally cool for what we're doing. And then for primary URL, this is where they're going to be redirected to when they click the link. So we want them redirected to our opt-in page in that case. So we're just going to go ahead into Clickfunnels here, grab our opt-in page URL. Again, I didn't put it on a custom domain. That's why it's catlametrics.clickfunnels.com. But for your funnel, it probably will be a custom domain. I'm going to paste that into the primary URL. For cloak link, we're just going to select no. Cloaking link, basically what it does is it hides the primary URL. So when they visit the tracking link, rather than redirecting, it actually stays up in the browser address bar. So unless you have a reason to hide your affiliate link, I would select no, because it does sometimes cause browsers to behave a little bit weird, or like your page to load slowly, that kind of thing. So we're just going to choose no. One super important advanced setting that we have to select here. So we're just going to click on advanced setting. Beside entry link here, we want to choose yes, this is a funnel entry link. And this is the only link we're going to do this for because it's our total stats link. But if we don't select that option, none of this stuff works. And then we're just going to go ahead and save this link. So you see the little funnel symbol beside it here, right? This is a funnel entry link. That's good. That's because we selected the funnel entry option. And if we click the link, we'll see it's assigned a random URL, 1kj, whatever. And that's totally cool. So this is our funnel entry link. We're all set up to track our total stats. Now we want to look at how do we track ad sources. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to go back into our group manager and we're going to create a subgroup. So basically what you want to be doing is creating a subgroup of that main funnel group for every different traffic source you have. So the first one I'd probably create would be a solo ads testing group. So when I first buy solo ads from a vendor, I buy like just 100 clicks to test them out, see how they are. I put all of those purchases in one group subgroup called testing, so I can see how much I'm spending on testing. And then if a solo ad vendor really hits it out of the park, I start to buy more regularly from them, work with them on an ongoing basis. Then at that point, I actually give them their own subgroup. Like let's say we're working with a guy named Mark, right? So at first, I'm just going to create a subgroup called solo ads testing, and I'm going to create a link for the solo ad run I do with Mark in there. But if I start working with him regularly, I'd create a subgroup called solo ads Mark, and I'd start tracking all his within his own subgroup. So let's go ahead here. So same way we create a link group, we're just going to create a subgroup. We're going to choose the parent group that we want. In this case, it's the funnel example because we want the subgroup to be a subgroup of that group. And we'll call this solo ads testing. And create subgroup. And we'll jump back into our links, make sure that got set up okay. Perfect. So we got that set up. We haven't created any links yet. So what you're going to create in here is you're going to create for each solo ad run you're going to create a new tracking link just for that run. Like if you buy 100 clicks, there's a tracking link just for that day. And you're going to give that link to the actual solo ad vendor. And that's the link that's going to go in their emails that people are going to click. Here's how you create it. So rather than create new link, we're just going to hover over it and we're going to choose clone funnel entry link. A few minutes ago, that option wasn't available to us, but since we chose that this is a front-end funnel option in our main group, this is now available. So we're going to clone funnel entry link, and it's just going to give it a weird name so we can rename it here. So let's say we bought 100 clicks from Mark, so I'll just change the link name here to Mark, the date, and the number of clicks I bought. And that way, when I'm looking at the stats later, I can easily see the date, who it was from, and how many clicks. And we can just leave everything else the same here. And now you'll notice something kind of neat here. For primary URL, do you guys recognize this URL? Well, what it is, this is actually our funnel entry link URL. Why would that be there? Here's why. So when someone clicks on this tracking link in the email that Mark sends out, it's going to happen in this order. it's going to go ahead and it's going to record the click and the opt-in here in the link stats for Mark within the Solo Ads testing group. Then it's going to redirect them to the primary URL, which is our total stats link. It's going to record the stats there again. Then it's going to redirect to that link's primary URL, which is the opt-in page. So it redirects twice and it records our stats in two places, at the link level and at the total stats level. And that's why we do that. What we want to do here also is under advanced settings, again, we can just leave no for clone link. Under traffic costs, we want to put how much we paid for the solo ad. So if it was 100 clicks we bought at 50 cents a click, we'll just put $50 in there. Don't check any of these boxes, leave them all blank. The reason is when you buy 100 clicks, they always over deliver, at least by some. Sometimes you get like 105, sometimes you might get 120, but it's never going to be exactly 100. And if you don't check any of these boxes, it's going to divide this cost over the actual number of clicks that were delivered. And that's exactly what we want. So we're going to go down and we're going to click Save Changes now that we've put our traffic cost in there and renamed the link appropriately. And the other thing we need to do is go back into our total stats link, and we also need to add the traffic cost in there manually. It's a little bit annoying adding it in two places, but the way Clickmagick is set up is the total stats link will inherit click and opt-in data from subgroups, but it doesn't inherit any financial data. You've got to enter that manually in two places. So exact same thing, $50, and leave all those boxes blank. Now with the total stats link, look at this traffic cost as a cumulative figure. So if we go and buy another 50 clicks off Mark or someone else, or another 100 clicks rather for $50 off Mark or someone else, we're gonna enter it at the new link that we create for that run, and then we're gonna come back in the total stats link and we're gonna add the $50 to the existing figure. So we would just update it to 100. So this is gonna always be, you're always gonna be updating this and adding it to the previous figure, and it's gonna represent the cumulative amount that you've spent on paid traffic over the entire funnel with all solo ad vendors. I hope that makes sense. So we've got $50 so far that we've spent on the funnel. We'll save changes. All right, perfect. So we're pretty much all set up for our solo ad run now. We got our pixel installed for conversions. We've got our total stats link up and running as a front end funnel link. We've got our link in the subgroup redirecting to the front end funnel link, which then redirects again over to our opt-in page. So let's actually take a look at what happens when we click the link, right? So Mark sends this email out to folks, and some of them, 100 of them are going to click the link. So if we click preview, that should work just like clicking the link. So it happens pretty fast, but you can see in a split second there, it redirected the funnel entry link and then over to our opt-in page. Let's say this time around, let's say we do opt-in and see what happens. So let's enter my info in there, hit submit. It should take us over to the thank you page, and it should fire that pixel. We'll click refresh stats. And we see here there's one unique click, one total click, 0 bot clicks, and our cost per click is $50. He's going to deliver 100 clicks, but there's only been one so far. Now, something a little bit peculiar here is I noticed that it didn't record the opt-ins. For whatever reason, our pixel code didn't fire. I think the reason it's not recording actions or action conversion rate is because it's only counting unique conversions, right? And I've opted into my own funnels several times here, so it knows I'm not a unique visitor, and it's not counting that as a unique opt-in because I've already opted into my own funnels. That's why we don't see the totals here under action or action conversion rate, but we see our cost per click data and our ROI updating as well. So the next thing we need to do is we need to actually go in and change our Clickfunnels affiliate link here on our thank you page. So chances are you're going to have some kind of bridge page, right? You're sending a bunch of different traffic sources all to the same opt-in page. They're opting in, and then you're probably going to have one or more affiliate links on your opt-in page, right? So here I have this link. Click here to get your 14-day free trial of Clickfunnels. So I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your custom link to change here on your opt-in page. So we'll jump into my affiliate dashboard here. We'll just scroll down to the Clickfunnels free trial link. And we'll scroll down to our 14-day free trial link, and we'll customize that. Now this is super important what we put in these two sub ID fields here. This is the magic that's going to let us track exactly which solo ad vendor, which original click resulted in ClickFunnels trials and sales. So super important to do this. So for affiliate sub ID 1, we're ultimately going to change this after. So for now, we're just going to put in a placeholder. So I'll just put something like change this to remind me to change it. And for affiliate sub ID 2, you want to put something, a general description of your entire funnel. So for this, I might call it funnel example. And we're just going to copy that to our clipboard. Now we want to jump into Clickmagick. And we're going to create another group. Okay, so it's a subgroup rather. So we're going into Group Manager, and we're going to make it a subgroup of our example funnel. And I usually call this one Other Links. So we'll call it Other Links Example. Well, it doesn't let us fit the whole word in there, but that's okay. So we'll create that subgroup. And now we're going to go create a link in that new subgroup that we just created. And this one's going to point over at our ClickFunnels free trial affiliate link. There we have Other Links Example. We're not going to clone the front end funnel entry link for this. We're just going to click on Create Link manually. Choose our custom domain. URL slug doesn't really matter. And we'll call this one Example ClickFunnels affiliate, because that's what this link is, right? It's our ClickFunnels affiliate link. And for the primary URL, we're going to paste that custom affiliate link that we just generated in our ClickFunnels dashboard. But one thing is super important we have to do here. For sub ID 1, where we put change this, we have to make sure we actually change that. And sub ID 2, we're going to leave the same. What we want to change this to is the word click ID with square brackets around it. Okay. That seems a little bit weird, right? But the reason we do that is once somebody clicks on the button, okay, on our thank you page that says click here to get your 14-day free trial of ClickFunnels, it leads to this URL here, the tracking link, right, that we're generating. Then it's going to redirect them over to the primary URL. And before it does that, it's going to take the word click ID in the square brackets here, and it's going to replace it with a 9-digit unique click ID. And that click ID is actually going to show up in our affiliate CSV file when we export it to see how many trials we got, how many sales we got. It's going to, for sub ID 2, it's going to say funnel example in the CSV report. But for sub ID 1, it's not going to say click ID if we set this up properly. It's going to actually have a unique 9-digit number associated with it. And that allows us, and I'll show you how a little bit later on, that allows us to track which click ultimately those trials and sales came from. So we're just going to create the link here. Okay, now again, it's automatically going to copy it to our clipboard when we create a new link, but just to be sure here, we're going to grab this link, and that is the link we want to put actually on our thank you page here for our 14-day free trial to point at. So just drop the link in there. And there was one other place on the page where I had a 14-day free trial link, so I'm just going to change it there as well and save the page. So now let's say, fast forward in time, somebody clicked that affiliate link on our page, right? So they opted in, it tracked all the opt-in stats, etc. They ended up on this thank you page, and they decided they want a 14-day free trial of ClickFunnels, so they clicked that big orange button. So what happens is it redirects them over to our 14-day free trial affiliate link, but before it does, it takes the word click ID and it replaces it with a unique 9-digit number. And we can actually look up that number within Clickmagick. So I've got my CSV open on my phone here from another funnel, just so I can show you an example. So after you have a trial or a sale show up on your CSV report, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into Tools, and you're going to go into Click ID Lookup. Okay, and it asks you to type in the click ID. So I've got a 9-digit, I'm looking at the CSV on my iPhone here. I've got the 9-digit click ID for somebody that showed up as a ClickFunnels trial. So they're trialing, the sub ID 1 was this 9-digit number, and the sub ID 2 was the affiliate side hustle. So we're going to click Show Click ID History. this brings up a little bit of data. It brings up the IP address of this person and what country they were in, what browser, what device, etc. They're from the US. They used an Android device as their IP address. But when we actually click on the IP address, this is super cool. This actually shows us the entire history of every tracking link that this person has clicked and the order they clicked it in and when. So here we see that, and it's like the oldest is at the bottom and the most recent click is at the top. So I would read it from the bottom up. So they actually clicked a link called Solo Ad Affiliate Side Hustle Ad 3 Stevens. That was Steven DeJagger when I bought some solo ads off him. They clicked that link on November 5th and they recorded the opt-in there. And then what happened is on November 9th, they went ahead and they clicked the Clickfunnels free trial link and signed up for the trial. So we know that we got this trial from Steven on November the 5th. So let's say now that person finishes their 14-day free trial and it results in a sale. So let's say it was the $97 plan. So we see another line show up in our CSV where we earned a commission of $38.80. Well, it's going to have the same sub IDs. So it's actually going to have this same click ID, and also the email address at that point, so you can go back and check that. But now what we can do is we know that we earned $38.80 off of the trial that came from this click from Steven. So then what we do is we'd actually go in and add the revenue for it. So I'll show you where to do that. So let's pretend that click ID didn't come from Steven, but it came from this example, right? So the solo ad example, I think it was Mark, right? So let's just pretend we got a trial from him and then 2 weeks later we earned a $38.80 commission. And we knew that because we used the click ID lookup to know that it came from Mark. So it looks like the pixel's firing properly now, which is cool because you can actually see this number of actions, 100% conversion, and for cost per action, we see $50. But again, as he delivers more clicks, those are going to update and those figures are going to go down as well. And then our revenue, we need to enter that in manually. So again, he started a trial. We knew that trial came from Mark because when we did the 9-digit click ID lookup, we saw this information as the link they clicked before clicking our 14-day free trial link. And then 2 weeks after that, he finished his trial, made his payment. We earned $38.80 revenue. We saw the same click ID come up. So we're going to enter that $38.80 revenue for this link. Okay, so we're just going to click the little gear icon here, and we want to go down to add import revenue. Okay, and we're going to do this manually. So total revenue, we're just going to enter $38.80 and click set revenue. It doesn't really refresh the page. We can see the little green check marks, it worked. And then we'll just refresh the stats here and take a look at that. All right, so that's kind of cool, right? What we're seeing here. So now we've got a lot of data to work with. Not only are we seeing number of opt-ins, opt-in rate, cost per click, we're seeing our earnings per click. So for every click, there was an earnings of $38.80. And now we're getting closer to that break-even point on our ROI, because once we break even, then you'll see an ROI of 0 there, essentially. And once we're earning a profit, we would see a positive ROI there. So that's about it for how to track your sales and enter your data. Now, remember when we entered our cost data for buying the solo ad, we had to enter it at the link level and at the front end funnel level. So same thing applies here. The front end total stats link, it's not going to inherit your revenue data. You've actually got to enter it in 2 places, just like you do the cost data. So we'll just enter the same thing here, add import revenue, and we'll add $38.80 in for our revenue off of this link. And we'll click set revenue. So what I typically do is I go through the CSV report once a week, and I look for any sales that have a unique click ID beside them. Any revenue figures like, people pay their Clickfunnels bill, I earned a commission. So look up the click ID for that, enter it into the click ID lookup here, see where it came from, and then I take the revenue and I enter it into the link level as well as at the total stats level, so I can see these update in real time. And as we start buying more solo ads and tracking the costs and revenue, you would see this total stats funnel entry link here update and show a cumulative all stats, right? And again, like say we earned another $38.80 and we entered it at the link level, and we want to go and enter it at the funnel entry level. Same thing with cost. That's going to be a cumulative figure here. So we want to make sure that we take the new 3880 and add it to the existing 3880. So I don't know what that would be, 7760, something like that. And then we'd set the revenue. So now we've had 2 sales of 3880. So again, we just want that to be a cumulative figure. And then we'll just refresh the stats here. We'll see that update. So now we're in the black, if you will. We've spent $50 and we've earned $77.60. So we've made a $55 ROI and a profit of $27.60. So we're seeing all this stuff update in Clickmagick, which is kind of cool. The only other thing I want to cover here is some other links you might want to put in the other links group, right? So we have our Clickfunnels affiliate link in there. The other link I'd probably put in there, like I have a Udemy affiliate link on that same page. So I would put my Udemy affiliate link in there. I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to. Any links in my email follow-up campaigns, I want to track so I have more data, right? So I know they clicked, say on Steven's solo ad, then they read email 1, they click that link, then they went over to the page. So I can see what emails are generating these sales as well, right? But obviously we're not attributing emails don't cost us money to send, so we're not attributing costs and revenue to an email message. We're just tracking it so we have the data. We know what links people are clicking and which emails are working and generating sales, but we're only recording costs and revenue at the link level in the subgroup to find out which solo ad provider it came from, and then also at the total stats funnel group level as well. So you could track, email campaigns, basically any tracking link. The more tracking links you create, the more data you're going to have. But any links that are in this other link group, don't read into the statistics. They really don't mean anything because you only have one conversion tracking pixel per Clickmagick account. It's going to attribute conversions. If they click your affiliate link and then go visit the thank you page again, it'll appear here as a conversion. So just ignore those datas. Any links in your other link group, the only stat that is meaningful whatsoever is UC, unique clicks, and total clicks. That's all you care about for the links in the other group. So I think that pretty much sums up everything there is to tell you about tracking your Clickmagick trials or Clickfunnels trials and sales in Clickmagick. Now, the only other kind of cool thing I'm going to advise you to do, and this doesn't really have anything to do with, tracking costs or anything like that, or tracking your revenue or ROI. It's more just a matter of it's like a cool, convenient thing to do. What I'd recommend is buying a super short tracking domain. So as like a second one, right? You'd have one for this funnel, then you can add up to 3 on the $17 a month plan. So I would just buy like a really short, memorable tracking domain. The one I'm using is cb85.co. I don't know why I choose that. CB is my initials. I was born in 1985, I guess, and it was super short. And I couldn't find any other really good, really short, memorable domain names that were available. So I went with that one. The reason I do that is I create a group called Personal Affiliate Links. Okay, so I'll show you that group here. Just to give you a little bit of insight into what I do. So for every single affiliate program that I'm in, I create memorable Clickfunnels affiliate links. So let's look at my link here for .com secrets. All right, so it's cb85.co/DCS book. These personal affiliate links are, if I'm talking to somebody on the phone or in person or over Messenger or whatever, right? And they say to me, hey, Catlin, can you send me your affiliate link for the .com secrets book? I can say, sure, just go to cb85.co/DCS book, or I can quickly, shoot that link to them over by Messenger because I have it memorized, right? So I'm not having to jump in my Clickfunnels dashboard to try to find my link and like copy it over and log into Clickfunnels before sending to them and stuff, right? Like I can memorize these links. So, I mean, again, it's not about tracking conversions or stats on these links because this is all organic traffic coming in. But it's just about these are all links you can memorize, right? Like I've even got one for Uber here. I've never actually taken an Uber, which is kind of crazy, but I noticed they had an affiliate program and I kind of signed up on a whim. So if if I'm ever having a conversation about Uber, I can just be like, hey, go to cb85.co/Uber. And I have all these links. Like these links, I am putting in a custom URL slug. I'm not leaving it blank because these are all ones that I want to be able to memorize. Like if I wanted to recommend Funnel U to somebody, I know that it's cb85.co/Funnel U. So just creating a link group called Personal Affiliate Links, adding your own links in there. You're using Clickmagick anyways to track your costs and your profits and your revenue. So why not use it? Add another tracking domain just to create super short, memorable affiliate links that you can, for the most part, memorize and send some people out when you're out having conversations and networking, whether it's in person or on the phone or over in Messenger, and quickly deliver these affiliate links without having to like log into Clickfunnels and generate a link every time somebody asks for one. So I definitely recommend you do that, and it's a huge step up from Bitly as well, using a custom domain in Clickmagick like this. So hopefully that answers all of your questions as far as getting up and running with tracking all this stuff. I know a lot of it might seem a little bit overwhelming. There is a lot involved with getting it set up, but I definitely advise you to take the time, even if you have to go back and watch this training a couple times, kind of follow along step by step. This stuff is worth doing because this is the stuff that makes a difference between sort of that beginner level and getting up to that intermediate and advanced level when it comes to using paid traffic with the Clickfunnels affiliate program, because ultimately you need to be able to outspend your competition. And the only way you're going to do that is by knowing your numbers and taking the time to set this stuff up and track this stuff. It does take a while to get set up, but once you're up and running, really it's just a matter of creating a new link in a subgroup that redirects over to your primary link every time you run a paid traffic campaign. And if you're, say, running other traffic sources like Google AdWords or Facebook ads, I would create subgroups as well for those if they're all going to the same opt-in page, right? And that way you can kind of break down by traffic source as well. So it would be the exact same way. Once per month, you could update the cost you spend on Facebook ads, and it's going to divide it out over the actual number of